Dr. Peter Bernstein. I'm the Executive Director of the Bernstein Institute for Trauma Recovery and also the founder of a nonprofit Sonoma Coast Trauma Treatment and with a specialty in one program called Lynn's Legacy. And I think that's most relevant to what we're going to be talking about today. This is Aloha Levy. She's a assistant of mine, and she specializes and has specialized for years in caregiving of various kinds. And she's very, very good at it and has a lot of experience, and she also has her own personal experience lately in her own personal life dealing with it. This is Kelly Barling, our office manager and an excellent resource person for families and individuals who are in need of resources when they're dealing with caregiving. We realize what a key issue that is and is becoming. It's enormous, and she's very good at it. It doesn't come easily, and folks going through caregiving experiences don't always have the time to seek the kind of resources they are needing. Mm-hmm. It's very hard, especially in our state and in our country. It's not like that in every country because we deal with people from all over the world, but in our country it's not a high priority. It should be. There are over $650 billion a year unpaid caregivers in this country. That's huge. But we know how costly it is. We also know the burdens that people take on. Very difficult. We're here today to emphasize a couple of things. Number one, we're here to talk about the trauma care specialists, the mentors. What's the title?
First responders.
First responders.
Professional caregivers, home caregivers.
Yes. And the truth of the matter is they're all different in some ways, professionally and with training. But what we discovered and what we do know from personal experience is everyone who's a caregiver of one sort or another is going to be impacted by the work they're doing. It's a very, as one of our friends from Fiji calls it, a very high calling. And it means that we're giving a lot to people that are in real need.
Yeah.
We consider the work traumatic. Our experience over the last 50 years or plus is as trauma specialists, trauma recovery specialists. I've developed a kind of work that deals with the body and how it absorbs and how the nervous system is deeply affected. And if not treated and addressed, it has a very deteriorating effect and that's for anyone. This work exacerbates that and brings it up even more. It just goes with the territory. Mm-hmm. What we're discovering in all of these professions and all of these roles is that we have a part of us that's absorbing and taking on the energy and the negativity of very difficult situations. Whether it's an acute crisis like a crisis treatment team, whether it's people that are doing ongoing caregiving, supportive caregiver, family members who are becoming caregivers. We know how hard this is on everyone. There's no one that is immune. Nurses, doctors, none of us.
Coaches, I mean.
No, coach, exactly. Yeah. None of us. I've been a PhD psychologist, psychotherapist for, oh my God, a long time. Today I consider myself a trauma mentor coach and person that specializes in recovery. I like that better. It's more inclusive. And I like that because what you discover in this kind of work, after a while the books don't hold a whole lot of solid ground. It's the experience of going through it and understanding from a personal experience what this kind of work does to you. All of these folks in all these different professions get drained. They also get triggered. What does triggering mean? It means after a while, the material, we're all, people who come who do this work, they're very empathic people. There's a healthy empath, and then there's those that are wounded or damaged, and most of the ones that I know are. That doesn't make them less effective, but it can cause problems because the mechanism called triggering happens in caregiving for everyone. Mm-hmm. Now, the key really is, well, what will that entail and what does that do to people? It means that we carry our own burdens, our own wounds, and our own pain. Now, you may think, and many do, that they have it resolved. I can attest to the fact that caregiving that exposes, well, you might have thought you had it resolved, but it brings it out. And the problem with that is, if you're aware of it and you don't do anything about it, it's going to take its toll in big ways on your health and your personal life. Or it's going to do something very destructive and you're not even going to be aware of it. And it's going to begin to contaminate your work helping the folks that really need it. So it's a very serious issue. We know that it happens. We take care of the caregivers of all kinds that this happens to. We've seen people's health go down severely because of it. Because the impact of what we're doing just doesn't affect us psychologically. It affects us physically and emotionally as well.
Yeah, do you mind if I just...
No, go ahead.
I had an experience over the weekend that I am frankly so grateful that I have had enough experience with my own trauma from the past, as well as healing and just becoming more resilient. And I had this experience with somebody that it triggered me, big time. I ended up finding that I was going back to old stuff, and it was just coming up, and I thought, oh man, this is not fun at all. It was coming up in dreams. It was coming up, early in the morning. When you're really very vulnerable and you're trying to relax and you just want to rest. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, Lord, there's something else going on here you're going to have to deal with. And I knew exactly what had to happen. I needed to be able to let this stuff go. I needed to be able to physically get that release that was so important for me to get, and be able to get back to work and have some perspective with the person that I was dealing with, because your perspective begins to just go downhill, and it's so easy to stay angry. It's very easy to stay confused, and you're reading things the wrong way. So, boy, did we know. And as I say, I'm so grateful that I do know the importance of physically taking care of yourself.
So basically you're talking about yourself. Your
Yeah,
own
this is
She mentioned her anger getting triggered and from her past.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. One of the things that we've discovered from our own experiences is that the situations, particularly taking care of people with stroke victims and dementia victims, is that there is a point where their anger comes out. They're very provocative. They're not reasonable. And we have to deal with it as caregivers, and they're suffering. So we wind up giving a lot, but really we don't receive very much anymore. You can't expect that. But what you do take on is a lot of negativity. After a while, there is that triggering or that stimulation of old things. Hello's talking about some of hers. Now, we at the Bernstein Institute deal with that and help people, and have for a long time, on how to diffuse it, how to heal. Now, what we've discovered over the latest years, we're very committed to caregivers generally, especially since my wife was so sick before she passed away. It's made things a whole lot more personal in the sense of looking at this differently. One of the things that I see that can happen is that we can teach people how to deal with individual situations appropriately at the time with folks, and you need to do that. But here's one of the other things. If you don't have a perspective on the change that occurs in dealing with someone who's got a serious illness, your old material is going to come up, and you're not going to have the perspective of knowing you're dealing with sick people in a much different situation. Their brains are functioning differently. Their central nervous systems are different. And it takes a different understanding to cope with them. If you haven't come to that place, you're going to start reacting to them like, well, they're just normal, they're acting deviant, they're just giving me a hard time. And you're going to begin to take it personally. That's not a healthy thing to do. Learning to cope with the situations as they are and accept that this is a different kind of life, a different kind of calling. We call it an extraordinary reality. It changes it should change the whole perspective on how a caregiver relates.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of caregivers know that for a while, and yet they get exhausted. They get depleted. And when that begins to happen for some, and Hello's describing herself, as much as she knows, that old stuff comes up and she loses her perspective on what's happening now. There's where the trouble begins, because then the caregivers become part of the problem instead of the solution. Our job here is to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Now, for us, the experience I've had with many caregivers, and a lot of families do talk to me about it, not just professionally. They aren't, if they're certainly moving into burnout, they're not open anymore to any kind of help, and they're usually very angry and defensive, and they're in denial. That's a bad sign, particularly when you see them physically deteriorating as well. So what we're having to do is understand how destructive this can be and how traumatizing, and how to intervene and use our skills and our work and our experience to help people turn this around. They can't eradicate the situation that they're facing.
Yeah.
It's very difficult work, but they can become more resilient and get back on their feet more quickly and come back to work more clear-headed about what's going on, what the problem was, and that they're not taking it personally anymore. We know we can do that for folks. We do it all the time. We also know we're not curing the client, but we also are doing everything we can to help preserve the caregivers of all callings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kelly's here. She's quiet, but she had a lot to say before we started.
Yeah.
I won't even tell you what she was concerned about, because then we're going to go to jokes instead of seriousness.
Oh,
Okay.
Kelly's a very experienced caregiver
Very.
herself.
Yes,
She
she is.
is being very quiet.
Yeah. The coaches, the trauma recovery coaches is definitely a significant emphasis here. But what I've decided to do is not to just focus on that, because the problems that they suffer from this kind of work, anyone involved in this work suffers from. None of us are immune. So we are definitely looking to help the coaches, mentor the coaches, and they need it. Usually they're in pretty bad shape themselves, as we've seen, but we can do an awful lot to help them.
Yeah.
But we can also help others too, including home caregivers. So I don't want to get so specialized that I all of a sudden cut out other people that are going through this. But yes, the trauma mentoring and the trauma coaches who are specializing, or say they're specializing in trauma recovery and whatever, we find most of them are having a rough time. And the kind of work we do goes far beyond just the books and the academic skill training.
Mm-hmm.
Goes far beyond it. In fact, that stuff falls away pretty quickly, unfortunately. So we are going to intervene, and we're going to do whatever we can to pull that together to give the caregiver an opportunity to get back on their feet, as Hello does every week, and she's dealing with this every week. We do it in our work constantly, but that's what we're called to do. That's our commitment, and our heart is with those families, those professionals who are doing this work full time.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly, what are you gonna...
Let me just add, specifically to professionals or trauma recovery specialists, that when you're triggered, it is an opportunity for you to learn about yourself and to grow through your experiences with a good coach mentor. You can't always take it on yourself when your things come up. Have a mentor that you can speak to when clients may trigger things in you. One of the things that I think is lacking in the books is a way for caregivers of any kind to take care of themselves, how to do it.
Yeah.
We had a conversation earlier today. Peter uses his horse as a good respite for him.
Cowboy Peter in the middle of the day. I work in the mornings and work in the evenings.
Yeah.
In the middle, no doctor, just a cowboy.
Yeah.
Training, cutting horses, and loving the sport.
Totally takes a break.
Yeah, and it helps me come back and be more resilient, to be honest with you.
It does, and we all need one of those outlets to continue to keep going and having a clear perspective without the clouds of this triggering from other clients hindering our work. We have to have outlets. We do know that it resides in your body too, stress or triggering, and that's one of the specialties we have here is working through the body,
Yes.
releasing.
And one of the things that Kelly's talking about is very important is even Cowboy Peter has to come back to work and deal with things as they are. What it does is it doesn't erase what I have to face, but it gives me a fresh outlook and I can remain resilient. That's what I learned, especially taking care of my wife. But we've done that. I've been doing that many years in the work that I've been in. We've been doing it many years for caregivers now. It's very important. It will not eradicate the extraordinary realities that you folks need to work in, though.
Yeah.
That's a different reality. And one of the things that I see happening, and I used to see it with less empathy than I have today, some people take a good look at this and they are running the other way because the reality is too painful, too confrontive. And they take one look and go, don't count on me, I'm gone. And it happens, unfortunately, too much. For others like myself, it's the opposite. I've trained in psychiatric internships and emergency rooms, so I do know about that in my life. So I'm drawn to it, and I go for it right away and do what needs to be done, and then afterwards I deal with the effects of it. I've learned to do that very effectively afterwards. But I'll be honest with you, a lot of people take a look at this and go, no thank you, I am out of here. You can take care of it. And that's a common experience with some family members. And I used to, when I was going through it with my wife, I had no empathy at all for folks that did that. Today I realize how frightened, how overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They're just out of control. And sometimes you can't stop them. So it's for us folks that stay involved and hang in there. We are the beneficiaries in the long run for the good that comes out of this, the strengthening through the suffering and the pain, the growth, the maturity. It comes through, in fact, the more difficult the struggles are, the more powerful our spiritual and emotional resilience becomes. But it won't come easily, it just doesn't.
And how much more fulfilling your job can be.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which can make a big difference when you're doing this day to day.
Yeah, and we do it day to day. I've been doing it a long time. I've been doing it a very long time. But anyway, we wanted to do this outreach today through the videos because we want to reach people where the need is and let them know you're not alone. We do know how to help you. We do know what it takes. We have the personal experience and the expertise and the calling on our lives to help you. So open your eyes to what's happening out there. Look for the Bernstein Institute for Trauma Recovery and know that we're here for you. That's our commitment in our lives. So I hope that you folks will be interested. We'd be glad to make our contribution to you. And if there's some kind of financial problems, we can go to our nonprofit to see what we can do to help you. But we know how important this is.
And you can reach us at support@bernsteininstitute.com, or the phone number is 707-781-3335. We'd love.
Right.
Love to hear from you, and we can get back to you.
And all our best, really from us, from our heartfelt caring. We're with you.
Yes.
And we're more than willing to give you a hand through all of this. Let us know, okay?
Yeah.
All our best. God bless you.
Thank you.